Hi everyone, my name is Maor and welcome to my channel. In this video we're going to talk about 5 different properties of living in a mindful manner. Now, mindfulness is very different than meditation or being meditative. However, there are overlaps between the two. I want to clear in this video those overlaps. I want to teach you and show you which ones you are missing the most. And I want to gradually just explain to you this 2600-year practice, which is one of the oldest practices known to man, and why it's so beneficial for our health, beneficial for our life. So, stay tuned. So, like I said, in this video we're going to talk about the 5 different properties of being a mindful person. Why and how they actually work. The first is non-judgment. Now, when we are talking about judgment, we're talking about the little critic or the little judge that's always in our head, bouncing around there, having an opinion about absolutely everything. Now, when I gave some of my students, and I had one of those 6 weeks courses that I met with them once a week, and I give them an exercise to just be non-judgmental for 1 week and just let us know every time. And I build a WhatsApp group, and every time somebody was judging himself or somebody else or the planet or the weather or anything like that, they would write. Would you believe how many messages we got in that week? It was in the thousands, and we were only 15 students. So, one of the things the students said in the end of the week is that they noticed how much they're judging just because they became aware using this simple exercise. Now, judging is something that humanity does all the time. Our brain is actually built in a way that we always have conditioning and attachment through each memory or each recollection of something. In other words, when I see the color red, I might think of it as a color that is more emotionally meaningful. When I hear the word hummus, I might think about Jerusalem or about Arabs or about the Middle East or anything like that. It's all associated, and that's why it's so hard for us not to judge, because we judge others according to their behavior because we compare them to our own behavior. So when we become aware of that and we grow above that and we understand the principles, the spiritual principles of unity, for example, we stop judging. Now, to stop judge, we have to stop judging ourselves while we're judging as well. In other words, when we catch ourselves judging, we can easily just accept it. What happens there is that we became aware of it. And next time we're going to judge, we might become aware of it just a millisecond before it actually happens. Now, I was playing another game that every time I found myself judging someone, I immediately gave them 2 compliments. In other words, the judgment was usually negative, of course. So the first compliment was to make it equal, normalize it. And the second compliment was to actually get this scenario and make a positive thing out of it. Now, remember, don't fall into the trap of judging yourself as you're judging, because what's going to happen when you become aware of how much judgment you have and how unmindfulness or unmindful like that actually is, you'll start judging yourself even more. Now think about it this way. The more ego we have, or the more we think that we are right, we're going to judge other people. The less secure we are about who we are, our opinions, or anything like that, we're going to judge ourselves much more. Now the point is to find the balance, to find the self-love, to know that everything is perfect as it is, to know that who we were and who we're going to be don't really matter, because right now is all that matters. So everything is perfect for who we are and where we are in our human journey. So when we stop judging ourselves, we stop judging other people as well. So it all becomes much more clear. So first principle, non-judgment. Easy peasy. Catch yourself as you're judging the weather because it's too cold, the government because they're too corrupt, money that you don't have, so you're judging yourself for not being successful enough. And just let it go. Understand that it's okay. Accept the situation as it is. Don't struggle with it. The second principle is having patience. Now, patience, it means it's not only tolerance to people that talk slower, to small children. If you're a parent, you know what I mean. For example, it's not patience towards waiting until the world will become heaven. Patience means you're not waiting for it. Patience means you're not waiting for anything. And that goes with the 5th principle, by the way, of non-striving. In other words, be patient about other people in your life. Be patient about waiting for a particular circumstance to arrive into your life. let go of the expectation. That's what patience means. The third principle is trust. Now, trust in creation, trust in, if you want to call it God, trust in the universe, trust that everything is conspiring to bring out your most intimate desires and the things that your heart really longs for. Trust other people. That trust that you had when you were a young kid, bring it back, okay? Some people are going to screw you over. That's okay, okay? It's better to trust everybody or have some people that will show you who to trust and who not to trust than to not trust or distrust everything and everyone. You know, it's sort of like we don't open our door because we think it's always a salesperson. We don't answer our phone because we think somebody is harassing us or taking away our energy. You have to undo or unteach yourself or unlearn all those things that we have learned to create us not trust. And I'm not talking just about human beings. I'm talking about creation itself. If you had no reason to be here, you wouldn't exist. If the whole world was a huge machine, that we are all a part of that machine. We can be a screw, we can be something big, we can be the engine, but we are there, we fit there. So we should trust that there is a higher divine plan, and we're a part of that. And we should trust that if now things are not going our way, they will soon. Because if we're doing the opposite thing, if we're complaining about it and judging it and giving it a low vibration, then of course it's going to bring even worse things. Now I know it's hard. I know it's hard and I know it requires some practice to be an optimist, to see the positive things. But you should understand, to be mindful means that we are trusting, that we have the patience for all these things, that we are not trying too hard, that we are not judging anything, that we're observing one thing at a time, that we're not trying to focus on 1,000 different things together, that we're not taking our cell phone with us to the shitter, that we're not watching TV while we're eating. Well, we're not doing all those things. We're not trying to do more than one thing at a time because we're mindful of whatever it is that we're doing right now. It's sort of like having that exercise that you're just raking. Did you know that the Buddhist monks, that they have this exercise? That they're just raking sand. Or that they're creating something and then they destroy it. Why? Because this is a mindful act of nothing really matters, that we're not striving for anything. So this brings us to the fourth property, non-striving, not trying, not reaching for the goal, enjoying everything that is in our path, exactly like those Buddhist monks that I just mentioned. When we're not trying too hard, we can't fail. We only fail when we have an expectation. Non-striving is, no, it's too hard for me. I'm not going to try too hard. You know how many times I had this in my life? For example, I tried to get more people to do workshops and you know, the average was 30 and I wanted to get 40 and I got one time even 55 and stuff like that. And then when I just let it go, the energy that erupted from my heart started bringing more people in. Now, when we're trying too hard, you know this already, right? When a guy tries too hard to get a girl, the girl doesn't want him. But when he leaves, the girl actually looks behind her shoulder asking where the hell did he go, okay? Because it kind of feels nice. When we're trying too hard to remember a word or a particular event in our life, we're trying too hard. But when we let go of that attempt, when we don't strive to get it, it actually comes back quite easy because the subconscious will bring it up once we let go, because the mind is not attached to the end results. Because we're not judging ourselves as we're not remembering that particular word or that particular event or memory or anything like that. So, non-striving is the fourth principle. The fifth principle is surrender and acceptance. Now, look how they overlap. Patience and non-striving come together. Trust and acceptance and letting go comes together. So when we're thinking about it, everything is sort of like aligned one with the other. But there's certain particulars that we can drill down into and understand what we are missing. So when we're talking about acceptance and letting go, of course it comes hand in hand with trust, because the more we trust, the more we accept the situation as it is. We're not trying to fight reality. We're trying to see that reality is showing us something, because reality is only a mirror of our strongest beliefs and our strongest emotions. In other words, if we are not looking at reality and understanding something, then we are doing something wrong. Because reality is always a reflection. It will always show us what we need to work on. Now, when we accept ourselves as we are, we start accepting others. When we accept the universe, creation as it is, we start accepting ourself as it is. In other words, whatever happens inside of ourselves happens outside of ourselves as well. There's always an exchange of energies in between the two. So in order to achieve something, in order to be more successful in life, for example, it's 80% something that is internal, of accepting perfection within ourselves, and only 20% the work that we have to do on the outside world, because the outside world will eventually reflect back what we have inside of us. So let's review all the 5 again. Number 1, non-judgment. Number 2, patience. Number 3, trust. Number 4, non-striving. Number 5, surrender and acceptance. Now, I want you to choose 2 of these, 2 of the ones that you need to work on the most in your life, and try to understand how you need to work on them and why you chose particularly those 2, how they come to pass in your day-to-day life, how you can change them in some way. Explain it to someone, to a friend that is open-minded like you are, somebody that's not going to, laugh that you're doing this type of exercise with someone. So if I choose non-striving, why? Am I trying too hard in my life to get somewhere? And this is actually holding me back, and I understand that. If I'm choosing trust, why? Don't I believe in something that is greater than me? Don't I have a connection with my higher self? Don't I trust other people, or have they failed me? And if so, do I need to go through a process of forgiveness with myself or with other people in order to gain that trust back again? Because it's all work of healing that we need to do with ourselves. So my friends, I hope this created or brought you a higher awareness to what mindful is. This is again the mental, the logical understanding of it. There's a lot of practices that you can do. There's mindfulness meditations that you could do of becoming just aware of one part of your body. When we're doing this in workshops, it actually works great, and it really clarifies between you and what meditation is and what mindfulness is. Another thing you can do is go outside somewhere nice in nature and observe the whole picture. Just observe it. Now, when you're observing something, you see a tree, you see a mountain, you see a cloud. Don't name them. Don't attach a label to them. Don't think, oh my God, it's so pretty, or what a wonderful day. Every time you put a label on it, you're losing it. And then again, just observe it objectively. And then you'll understand the difference between what being mindful and being meditative is. No labels, no attachments. Sometimes a thought can come, you let it pass, and that's where meditation and mindfulness, by the way, they kind of align one with the other. But when we become much more mindful, you become much more mindful of your breathing, you become much more mindful of the way you walk and the way you talk, you become more clear about things in your life, you become more present, and you become more patient about things. In other words, you don't try to run after something chasing the result, but because your frequency, your vibration is higher, that end result is going to come to you in an effortless way. So my friends, this summarizes the 5 principles of mindfulness. You are welcome to join, bring in more of your knowledge, recommend some things here, write it down in a comment, ask any question that you like. I have plenty more exercises. Maybe if a lot of you will watch this video, I'll do more videos about mindfulness. If not, I'll do other topics. So, thank you very much for watching me. My name is Maor. You can join one of my workshops at www.maor.com. Namaste, my friends.